There's a lot that seems to be transferring onto me. Not that I bother to try to work out, right? We have Mercury going back from the Virgo, the one that does look into detail and solve problems and heals things. It's kind of like the silent genius over there, the Virgonians, if that's the way to say it. Um, because it's Mercury ruled and they're magicians, right? So is Gemini. Those are the two signs that are ruled by the Mercury planet, which is the mind. And the mind isn't such a bad thing when you use it right, when you have the right installation of the way, the natural order of things. Um, so, having said that, what's my video about? Just getting calmer. I've been making videos in this green robe. It is now the 888, still called Lion's Portal, pardon me. And I think I wanted to talk about the heart issues, the heart matters, because I can go through my personal life and try to just go general, because I am the general, and pardon me. And it's been very hard on me for the last 3 years, let alone. Well, this life isn't easy, right? And I'm just glad to be feeling anything at this time. I'm grateful to see my I don't want to talk about it much, so you don't want to talk about the great things, and because then that can be sabotaged by other people that don't want you to have a great thing. But if it really is a great thing, why can't you share it? And if it's really love oriented, then you're protected, because that's a great shelter. Really, it's kind of invincible. I mean, even for sure, yeah. See, Christ said, "Try two or more," but one is pretty darn powerful. Yeah, isn't that true, Christ? Yes. How do you like my picnic table? How powerful the scene is to this day. We want to attend and eat some of what is the cracker and the blood. That's pretty much auspicious. You want. I'm suspicious of that. What is what I meant. God, this conversation went way over there, but it's important to make a long ass video for people to look into and pacify their brains with. I can only imagine what's happening. You should learn to observe, not absorb. I'm learning that to carry on with any kind of decent interaction with whatever's out there, right? Because might come on to some very trippy reactions. I know that if you're like me, you do, because I do not hold back. I'm just myself. Now, I didn't just say that I'm totally disrespectful, although I've been highly misunderstood over the last oh, of course, yeah, from having fallen into starvation and getting, for sure, a certain chemical balance, perhaps. But who's to say that that's not all supposed to happen? Some of us go through like a near-death experience, and then not to say that we're done with it. I mean, maybe it's just like this ongoing thing. Really, I call it awareness. If you've either, I did make a video about this, and I don't like this video, by the way, but maybe it'll help. About awareness. You're either, if you fall unaware, then that's when all of your enemies step in and try to help you, I guess, because awareness is your only darn friend. Woo! See, the last video too, I was trying to talk about this person who sent a very heartwarming, touching, but it's a darn poem. Anybody can find that and not even know what it really is. See, you have to explain from your point of view, and on Facebook, I'm sure there's a way that you can show that you hear somebody, and I'm pretty complicating to hear, I think, because you look, and I don't live the same life that everybody else does. I don't have a family. I don't have obsession with the career, or any kind of accomplishment whatsoever. I hate to say that, because why? I'm like Snoop Dogg. Dog. Well, what did he call that guy? He somehow made his career, right? He's doing his life, and I remember he was whatever, you know. I don't really pay attention to this, but I remember he was up on the podium and he's making it. It's a very important. He says it's like at every place he goes. I think when he's getting an award, he goes, "I would like to thank me, all of the hard work I did, sacrifice, especially the mind thing or whatever." You just get into it and talk about the in depth and trial and error and how much he didn't like failing, but he kept doing it and how bad it felt and whatever, right? That's the right way to be, kind of to um, be real and you know, didn't just say that people aren't around helping out. Of course, people admire that, and so there you go. It speaks for itself. People will start to support that maybe. See, the thing about what money is promoting in the big lights behind the cameras with the microphones can change. I'll intercept it because look, why hasn't anybody even taken advantage of the fact that there's a camera everywhere, everywhere, everywhere? What would you do? What would be the like? You just want to generalize. How would the organization of the what's going to begin to rise in resonance begin to catch the attention of the what really whatever is insisting that we witness reality in such a way, like who took that over, you know, because the way, see, they talk about now you love your subject matter of narcissism. I do kind of suggest this too. You should do it. They might do it to be and be an idiot, and later on you can use it. You can say, no, look, see, this is the difference between somebody pleading their case and somebody lugging around a bunch of equipment and papers and a suitcase and a necktie and everything and being a fake, an imposter representative of what, you know, is their life. You know, it should be their life. But anyway, let's look at how that they do have cameras everywhere. That is just, you know, it's an innocent. See, when you're encountering a gaslighting narcissist, it's like this, man. Every single conversation, I remember dealing with somebody, and it was every single conversation, everything. I mean, some people are just making a living on this. And it's hard to tell who's who, like who's doing this. See, there's where it's like this isn't really a terrific place to be because they gaslight, right? So anything, it's almost like anything goes when it comes to the truth. Fuck the truth. See, a genuine gaslighting narcissist. There's something very childish about them, right? And they're always getting help from everybody because ultimately, I mean, they don't live. They're always in an accidental place, right? Because it's a gaslight altogether, right? And so um, now they have like a crew of 15 to 25 or 50 people around them to help out. It's a big help out crew. Some of them are just very blunt about it, like the one that I knew, and um, the females. I hate to bag on people that are handicapped. Really, narcissists, no, whatever you're talking about, wherever the toxicity you think it is there, look again. Did you not fall into a stupid place in your own awareness to think that, okay, first of all, that people were the answer, but then you realize that people are not all that together. I mean, most likely, oh God, especially nowadays. Oh God, I hate to talk about this, right? Because I love people. There was right. There's a time in your life. You know, I'm not 9 years old anymore, 6, 13, 25, trying to prove anything to anybody, right? I'm just, but I'd never been that way. You know, I'm just being me. Like I said, Snoop Dogg, are you with me, baby? He says, yes, I would like to thank me. For what? You know, well, I'm the one who stuck it out, you know. Get to this very position right now. Girl. Pardon me. Oh, oh. Who are you? Thank you. By the way, I didn't just say piss on you. I mean, but when you say that to a narcissist, it's basically that because the way they are processing things, the way that they gather in something, if it's a mind game, really, then they lost because they didn't conquer that mind. You know, I think the best game is to conquer it and say, well, get rid of that imposter over there because reality is here. Getting back to the cameras that might be pointing around, if you noticed it. But you know that there's a narcissist there doing a Photoshop. You can't do that with everything. So it's not a coincidence. I mean, one of the ways to like just to make sure that you're not going crazy and say, look at this. Happens every day, not every day, but every conversation. Record the conversation. It's a trip because of course, you have to pull up on yourself. But really, by the time that you're noticing that there's gaslighting and even narcissists exist, and what is it? How about this? By the time you notice that a human relationship is possible between people, maybe, um, you are so ultra sensitive. You have turned on all of your senses. You are trying to understand. You have gone you have done mental gymnastics to the point of you are beyond mental, babes. You are went to the heart. You are probing as an X-ray, lie detector, fucking MRI machine. What I'm saying is that you see auras. You're into the paranormal like crazy because you have sharpened up. You're like you've probably even brushed up on your behaviors a little bit. You're like, did I do right? They have you walking on eggshells, right? They're there because there's a problem. And yeah. Did we ever reach? Now, can we have a good time, kids? Hell no. All of a sudden, now what? Now, uh, everybody knows that they want a mother. They want something of their mother there, and that's something a lot huge book to open because people's impression on what that is. See, they say that there's two types. There's the Madonna or the whore. Now that you got this far, I've heard that before. It's just these two types of people. That one is the perfect virgin over there that is impossible. That's kind of impossible, but so is the whore thing. I mean, really, we have to reach a balance here. I mean, what's really going on with both of them? Let's hope that either one of them. By the way, are any of you people having a good time? Getting back to that, um, the cameras help as far as to stop the crazy making overall. You have to find out who is putting these cameras up because maybe, just maybe, and this is hell of a way to turn your percentage around, but I think 80% of people who are narcissists, I mean, really, they have yet to know the difference between reality of the mind, a good time and a bad, really, and let's talk about like, well, the percentage that is malignant cases. They will never find the cure, which I don't really believe that very much. No, this is what we're looking at as the thing that's happening on the planet. I was going to say with men and women, but there's an organism here that it has to do something. It's chugging and see, but we're not excluding that there's higher ups or downs that might be hijacking or just joysticking. Like, well, these people think that they can own some of this stuff, but really, this is an experiment where what do you think is, because do you think you have a higher self that isn't really your body after all? And really, how, because didn't you ever wonder about all of this? Like, did you have a deeper wonder than what Wonder Woman has? No, I'm just kidding. What I'm saying is your education system over there, who really, based in fear, see, it's hard to know how to know. And so, well, the education system says, we've got it down, baby. Yes, listen to us. And it's like, wait a minute, because you're going through a process of becoming, and that's a delicate thing. And that's where Christ would say, the life, the life. And then people that really have contributed into society, which is very few, but really we love to think about Tesla and all these people that really do come up with something. It really, he says, babes, even though they do go to school and stuff, I don't deny that they're onto something with the math and stuff. They have to be scholarly somehow. But no, they prove to be going beyond it. After a while, they are having a hard time with the system, and they don't blame it on the public education system or anything like that. They talk about meditation, and they say, my mind is just a receiver. And really, from where is it coming? See, they need a little extra oomph, a pulsation there. They need to get a pulse after a while because they're really struggling with something, because I think they never turn to their leader and say, Mom, exactly what is happening here, right? maybe, you know, but they do. They have sentimentality about their mother, and their mother would show them heaven even when they died. They're like, and by the way, there is a heaven and hell. They're like, well, gosh, dog, I'm going to make this part of my intricate studies of science, and I'll write a little book and be this little man that never says, and by the way, thank you, mom. Just kidding. As a leader, you know, I mean, by the way, my mom gave me this idea. It was after the umbilical cord cut. I was like, oh shit, I gotta figure something out here. He's like, yes, back into the. Did you find your way back to the What's it called? Starts with a V. Venus. Now let's check out the real word. Oh, never mind. I don't want to get all. I'm not really into. See, right now it's like I haven't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello, like, and subscribe? It's going on 7 a.m. I'm gonna say my beautiful thank yous to the creator above, and that pretty soon I'm going to be able to hear the right message that will get me out of what I think is the weirdest situation as far as all of humanity is concerned. Can you agree? If I was humanity itself and you were too, can you say that you are humanity? Do you think that this is a strange trip? Life itself, how did we end up here? I'm doing the best I can. See, Neptune. Neptune rules TV sets. Why? Because it rules all of the medium. Now, you know it rules water, and I've tried to talk about this because Neptune is having this a profound move that it's going to make, and it's going to affect us all. And it's inching up. All astrologers, and especially, see, if you haven't noticed it, science and spirituality and all that stuff is on the table. There's something really intense happening with the deception that would just absolutely throw everything into just like forget that. You know, it's really hard to think through all the Olympics over there. What is this um exercise about anyway? It needs an exorcism, or is it psychological warfare? Yeah. Very interesting, by the way. There is a way to look into some things, which is through the mind of a child and start to get more and more refined with that as far as your adulthood, you know, and say, no, actually, according to my play, because I'm player one, honey. Um, thanks for listening. I'm getting into I need to get out into the day, feed my chickens, and get into the meditation. See, the meditation for the sun, when it comes up, the fact of that there is a system that has people chugging blindly, like a takeover. It's taken over. See, they don't see the sun. They don't know about it. But when I talk about the sun, I'm talking about when they get up and start roaring away. They have turned day into midnight. They have turned midnight into day, too. See, you don't see the clarity of your real life, the possibility of might be going on, unless it's. I started making these videos in my robe 3:30 in the morning or 4. I'm telling you, it's a good time to meditate and do something. Maybe you're calling, you might hear it. It will wake you up. See, people get disturbed because they're in their programming and they think it's a bad thing that now I can't get to sleep. And it's like, no, you should start listening to your life, babe. Is it starting to happen for you? You know, kind of thing. Some people catch on to it really early. They kind of stay nocturnal, you know, because it's like I said, day turned to night, night to turn to day. What is it really? What is it really, though? See, what matters to us really, other than the human ecology that we have to interact with, and where I'm at is inhospitable. I live near two major cities, LA County and San Diego, and there's other things happening in other places, like of course Las Vegas, and that place is just a complete blackout. Where those people are, those are the. I'm sorry to talk about it like this, but you need to know in Shana Sci-Fi the nature of the world, how that very few make an escape from those particular the Matrix. How about did you know about the Matrix too? Right? I'm sorry. Here, I'll get back to my just the point of that is that it's better to realize it might have always been this kind of way. Maybe I don't know, but see, I would love to have a meditative pyramid. See, you're being more of if you can stay as an inner and outer peace throughout all of this, really, and just keep it, you're doing more for, especially, it's not appreciated by not these people that lay asphalt, not these people that have to spark up a major tractor or a bike just to pull a trash can around or something, and they're not benefiting from the discipline that it is to just be in a physical body. How about that? And then tend to the earth. Uh, Most likely the shortcuts that you make around here in this kind of area are only more pollution, because this is an area, I mean, all of the earth is until you learn how to fix that oil leak and make that thing quieter, which they can, you can. This realm, babe, the world, the way that they made it so noisy, all the mufflers and stuff, you're just this grinding fucking friction sound with the gas and all of it. It's just intentionally done to keep you all completely on edge and nervous breakdown, really, and capitalize on that and make it impossible to find any kind of relief. It's about that, really. What is your relief now? How long do you ignore it, and then when do you get the call from, like, way on all levels, especially your body? You know, it's that absurd thing that happens that people have run for money, and of course there's a balance here, babes. What is it? I say that maybe you should include women in on it. They can tell you eventually, I bet you anything. They'll say, well, you know what, and then they'll start weaning you off of money. No, you don't need that backdrop system. I didn't just say you don't need, like, how wonderful it is to be able to create here. God, really, let's make some use out of it. A lot of regulations and something that says no, and because we want to keep this hospital open or something like that. I don't know. Have a good day. I love you guys. Making these videos, for whatever reason, it's really pumping up. It's important to talk, more and more. We're going to have Uranus going into Gemini, which is, talk about an afterburner. I'm starting to hear noises out there. I need to find out what it is. See, my neighbors, they might be getting to the point where, everybody in their crisis of not being able to relax, really. And talk about how much of it, see, I didn't really realize that there's, pardon me, something called the avoidant narcissist. And I'm not saying that I know what that is to try to become avoidant. See, these traits of narcissism that are really toxic behaviors, um, only if they stick, though. We all can get them in a temporary time when we're trying to either protect ourselves or survive or do something, or we don't know how to ask for help, or whatever comes out, that we start acting like a tyrant. Um, we know that it's not us. We're way more creative. We can have a sense of humor about it. We can get a grip on it ourselves. There's always the afterburner of just getting a grip and then starting to communicate even more on a deeper level, and then realigning to what you need, and blah, blah, blah. And congratulations to that, Shauna. You're amazing, and have a nice day. When are you making your next video? When are you going to like my video? Hi, how are you? It's okay to do that. I'm not really doing it as like an adrenaline rush. Really highly creative people, when they're in the middle of creating, like I'm doing now, and I'm trying to tie it in with, I'm trying to give you an astrological heads up. We're midway through the year. This month is the hardest one out of the year, to tell you the truth. It's like, whew, beware of August. Why? Because of that Mars square Venus that's coming up. And it's not while it's happening, is it while that's happening? Sorry, because there is a Mars square Venus happening. And that's tough on love, tough on men and women. Have you noticed the issues between men and women? I have nothing to do with it, babes. I am keeping way away. I am pure awareness. I love people. And I'm wondering, when can they drop all that bullshit and just become purely aware? And really, if anything, yeah, of course, get into your body, find out a good feeling, share it. Did you reach something real out there using your five senses, or are you guys doing the mind and beating up the children, I guess, your childlike self that says, hey, man, I just want to have fun in this. What is this? I want to learn something before I die. Learn something real, sorry. Just looking at these, what was I trying to, I'm trying to see when that Mars squares Venus, and it's a very hard aspect to sit through, especially if you're a man and a woman, and it's like, oh, what is happening out there? Boy, everybody hates each other. At this point, it's just pure men hate women, and men and women hate men. But what is it really? See, within a human being, it becomes unsatisfactory. They are always unsatisfied with something, and they don't get a certain element of being human, I think, that says, no, it takes skill to derive pleasure. And it's also something that's like, you know what, you better have a genuine interest. Do you want to get involved? See, because the squares between any planet, but particularly now, if you want to imagine that the love ability, your Venus, and then Mars, your ability to take action on it, if it's blindsided, it can't see each other with the square. There's a hard edge and corner. They hardly get each other. They don't hardly meet up. It's a crash if they try to. And uh, so they need to understand, probably with their passion and their whatever they love, they need to connect it. What do they want? Well, a lot of people are confused about that question. It's like, well, it's not a real question. You want the truth. You want a good feeling, and it's already here. Thank God, and it's not Kool-Aid. Really, there is something you're aiming for. Try some mangoes and watermelon and just a bunch of water. Try mainly water and just a couple drops of mango and real watermelon. You'll be surprised. Fuck your Kool-Aid over there. Woo! Getting back to the Venus square Mars thing. Now, when does it happen, Shauna? Did you try to tell us this before? Are you repeating yourself? Yes, it's a weird square because it happens, I'm pretty sure, at the degree of 22, but see, it's because Venus disappears. It doesn't show the 22 degree in the book here. It's really close to the 22nd, too, of the month. It's on the 23rd. But see, there is this thing where, and so it's still, yeah, it's still in square with Saturn a little bit. There's going to be a little bit. It's not like I just got the vision of like, both Mars and Jupiter were just conjunct, right? Is Jupiter still conjunct Mars there? If you count the orbs and you look into it, the answer is yes, because, well, you want to count at least, well, some people give it a 10 degree, and I'm giving it a 6, and it still is between the 23 and the 18 there. And it is, I think it's a 5 degree. And well, with Mars, it's still conjunct Jupiter, yeah, and it's square. Yeah, so there's, technically, if you want to count that Venus is doing that square to, wow, yeah, there's a T square. Now, you're mentioning a T square in the mutable there, um, with all three planets in different signs, Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo. And this is a lesson time. We're doing a lesson about something very mutable. It does remind me of the teachers, because that is Gemini, Mercury, your mind, but Saturn being there, but Virgo. Virgo is the sneaky ultimate like healer. So who is our teacher but the ones who solves problems and knows that, like, handles the information in detail. See, that's the difference between, and that's why Gemini has a hard time and just kind of surrenders to Virgo, this forward square, and we're talking about human evolution, and that's what astrology is pointing at, is the awakening of human evolution. And the squares are very profoundly interesting because they are, see, Gemini lacks what the Virgo has, which is just a little better of a way, takes more time, is earthbound, and is now taking the time to really root down and get the right information and weed out the wrong, all of the scattered stuff. It's just really creation getting itself settled in, because you're coming out of chaos and now you're grabbing um, what's really working there. And Virgo is very interesting that way. That has no trouble. It loves to see. I have Venus in Virgo, and I have no. I need to. I like doing intricate work. Whatever work I do, you'll see it's done to detail and better. And you kind of rub your eyes with it and say, well, that was actually done very well. And if there's a way to do it, especially if it's the truth, that's the only way to do it. I mean, that's where you're getting that satisfaction. Talk about the satisfaction now. See, the Mars square Venus thing. Now, let me just dial in on this. Um, I've experienced the mutable square Mars, Venus, Gemini, Venus, and Mars in Virgo. It's very interesting. They need a balance about that. Pardon me, I'm talking kind of fast. There's a reason, because there is a mercurial thing going on, and I'm a very mercurial person. Really, the ones that have the conjunction with Uranus and Mercury, we're bound to talk fast anyway. So I hope you can hold on, because we are able to cram a bunch of information through our mouths, you know. So anyway, but it comes through it where the entire, I talk about Tesla and the entire aperture being a receiver, and then imagine trying to communicate after a while, you know, really there's that thing that may come up where it's like, how do we absorb this shit that's happening, let alone, okay, you know how that, we're getting this weird view, politically, the media, the comedians, right? The media, Trump in his ear, turn off the robot, pump up the imposter doll over there, and then to the Olympics. See, this all happened while Mercury was going through retrograde shadow, and then it's going to go back and it's going to kind of hit it all the way down to Trump, 1 degree away, delivering ear to the population, say, can you hear? It's a very good thing. Do you hear? Do you have a heart? I didn't just say that Trump is a sign of Christ or anything, but what is that thing over there? Can we? I mean, and they managed to get this shot. Really, it's like, where did they get that shot? The dramatic shot of this picture of the blue sky, and he's bleeding, and the clueless, whatever these people that are around him, they're all actors. I'm sorry, and even if somebody was killed there, they do sacrifices, babes, and make the woman scream and try to keep order in the massive hall of people that are mind controlled to hell, perhaps. Maybe we have no idea. You don't know what's piping up right now. It's getting to be 7:30. Time to go and do. And it's like, this is really interesting because, are we working the prefab out there? Wow. Work that fucking prefab. It's all falling apart 2 years later. Have you noticed? Like, what is going on here, kids? What am I supposed to do here with all of this confetti? Real life, huh? Going down the drain. Just look at the oceans now. It's all floating over there. Getting back to Neptune. Sorry if I kind of got off track, but it's always Neptune with that going in backwards in Pisces. It's the time for clarity, believe it or not, and then we get back into the heaviest Neptunian feel when it goes forward again. And I wanted to tell us, did I ever tell us when it goes forward? Sorry about that. In my last video, I was like doing that. And see, it goes forward by, it's going retrograde now. And as long as it's retrograde, we're getting clarity. It's weird. Otherwise, when it's going forward, it's like, back to the world of deception and watch that television set. Can you throw away your television set between now and, let's see, in December it goes forward. I think I told us about it. Yeah, and then now I'm looking at when it actually goes into a whole other zodiacal phase, which is Aries. And now, see, I'm looking at me very intensely. We're looking at people who, it's just, I mean, the square is one thing, but the conjunction to your ascendant is profound, and you better, hopefully you have made your sounding staff already, and you turn into a crystal, and you're like, I am now. Basically, you could become a spiritual leader, but it's not a good thing. This means that, yes, did you just shove that spiritual staff up Christ's butt? That's terrible. Look at the cross over there. Excuse me, I'm not nasty. Look at what happened over there at the church. They're still worshiping that crap. Woo! Woo! When are we going to get out from under that? Maybe this is what the sign is. Look, and then it goes back. Oh, God, look. Neptune goes back into Pisces in October of 2025. It actually goes to 1 degree Aries. So it's giving us, it goes to 2 degrees. So it's giving us a little taste. How kind. God is being kind. It's kind of like the Pluto thing we're experiencing. How it's going to 2 degrees and it's going to excavate out. And from like now it's going to back up. Now you want some more clarity, right? When it goes forward, there's hardly any clarity, but now we're going to get some more clarity while it's in Aries, and this is like just sharpening up the swords out there. People are coming to activate, and so, God, I keep doing this in front of your face. So I'm trying to see when does it officially go into Aries permanently. Now it's in February of 2026. Boom, now by the time it's not 2026, it's looking like by the time it's June, it's got 4 degrees now. And so, this is a little trip that Neptune is making. Oh, now it goes retrograde in October again. Does it go back to Pisces? Let's see. 26, Happy New Year, 2027. And we're getting back to, it gets back to 1 degree, but then no, it goes back to, see, we had some retrogrades, and those retrogrades are spells of clarity. Even your television set isn't going to be able to tell you what's going on. You're going to know for sure. This place is a cartoon. And Shauna? What's happening to Shauna over there? Is she really going to the Christ ceremony? I hope not. The rumor has it is that all of humanity will be going into this rapturous kind of like they know for sure. It's, if you can imagine, it's like a combination of bliss and the most painful thing you could ever experience is realizing Satan, that people are being taken by their minds, and how that it's what are you gonna do? People need to wake up. Well, how is it gonna happen? See, people will wake up anyway, and we don't think it's gonna be such a tragic thing as being machine gunned down, because they can't seem to do it very properly through the courts and just have them kill their leaders, as usual. Something else may happen. It could. I don't know if it's going to hang in the air that the Olympics will be there, and we are codependent on just something to do. We don't even know what we're doing anymore. Just do we have something else for us to do? Money will tell us next. And fuck men and women. Fuck our sex lives. Fuck everything. Fuck life itself. Never said fuck so much at the end of the video, but why not? It's a very profound thing to do. I'm going to get some breakfast, babes. Love you guys. Have a nice day. Hope you like this one.